everybody? Welcome back to another episode, guys. Happy Monday. So, guys, it looks like now we can make sense out of the two out of the three posts that Hot Toys shared on their social media pages. Everybody thought that we were getting, I don't know if new figures, or I don't think anybody knew what was going on, right? So now that we got these announcements, right, that we're going to get into, now I can make sense out of it, right? Now it makes sense why they shared those pictures, right? What they posted those pictures. So we're going to get right into it, guys. But first, let's see who's in here very quickly. We got Uncarded in the house. How are you, my friend? He says, what about the Darth Revan announcement, bro? Do you even... No. So what happened was, it was like, what time was it? 3:00 in the morning. So they announced the first two. They announced BT-1. They announced Starkiller. And then I went to bed. So when I got up, I set up the stream after those two, and I went to bed. So when I got up, I think it was later than that, actually. I think it was like 5-6 o'clock in the morning, actually. Then I noticed that Revan on Facebook, Revan was shared. I was like, oh wow. I was like, that's crazy. So that's when I added it to the stream. That's why you didn't see it in the beginning. But it's crazy, right? Crazy. Chris, how are you, my friend? Welcome.
How you doing?
How are you? Talon, my friend. How are you, my friend? He says, hey, Fabs and everyone, I missed 2 streams and now I'm hearing this. Is it in our channel? Oh, man. This is for you.
How dare you?
Oh, man.
I don't think so. Wrong.
Oh, man. Leo, my friend, welcome. How are you? Thank you for being here. Welcome. We got Tim. How are you? Nice to see you. Welcome. First time here. Welcome.
I'm doing.
Nice to see you. Had to pre-order all 3. You have to. They're already up on Sideshow, guys. We're going to get into all of it. We got Tool in the house. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here. Morning Collectors. What's up? How are you, my friend? We got 16 Jedi. Welcome. I'm so pumped for Revan. Welcome. First time here I'm seeing. This is for you.
I'm doing.
Nice to see ya. We got Rudy in the house. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here. Listening in from slavery place. Nice. Oh, man. They're turning us to the dark side. Well, just wait until we get into it. Ryan's cracking up. Oh, man. I've been here before. Oh, I got you. Sorry, I didn't know. I never saw your name pop up. That's why. All right, guys. So here we go. So now, okay, now that, okay. So now that we see the announcements, right, we can kind of put it together with this, right? So when this was shown by Hot Toys, what do you assume? What did anybody assume? What did everybody assume? Right? Oh, what are we getting? Are we getting reissues? Because everything that you see here has been out. So what was the point of this? The point of this was to introduce this guy, right? So the fact that they said new droids, right? Or the whole droids conversation, right? For them to tease this, the droids was hinting at this, right? Same with this, right? Them hinting at this, the dark side people, right, was hinting at these two now, right? So now that we see what happened, this is how we could attach, what Hot Toys does. So that's why I always try to make sense out of what they do, because I think deep down in my head, I believe that there's always a pattern, right? There's always a reason why they do things, right? Sometimes we can't figure it out right away. Sometimes we can't figure it out at all, right? But there's always a reason why Hot Toys does something. And I tell you guys this all the time. Let's see who's in here real quickly. Serge, how are you, my friend? Welcome. Pre-order both 3 a.m. this morning. Oh my God, this guy's nuts. 000 can't come home soon. Yeah. No, it looks really good too. That War Machine looking thing. Chris, how are you, my friend? Welcome. Yeah, that War Machine thing was awesome. So let's get right into the figure, guys. So like I said, it's already on Sideshow, right? It's priced at $220. Okay. There's no die cast, right? There's no die cast at all, right? So $220 already for plastic, right? We know that this looks like what droid is this? Is this it looks like the R5D4 if I'm not mistaken, right? That style of head. Again, are you guys happy with that price point at $220 for plastic? I don't know, right? It looks great, right? Another thing I told you guys, and I've been telling you guys, if you pay attention to when Hot Toys does a new figure that, or a new character or a new anything that they've never done before, what do I always tell you guys? They will always reuse molds. It's not smart as a company or as a business, right? Having to overspend for things unnecessarily, right? The reason I'm mentioning that is variants, right? So as you can see, this thing, if you like this War Machine stuff, right, you're going to love this thing. This thing is, badass looking at least, right? I don't know where it's from. It says comic here, so it's a comic book line. I wouldn't know where this is from. But again, is it cool? Is it appealing? Absolutely. Does it belong with Star Wars? That's up to you to figure out where it's going, right? But this is my point of the variant. So as you can see, here is a variant of C-3PO. What is it going to be called? I have no idea. But what is the point? The point is that Hot Toys hadn't made a C-3PO ever. Period. Just never did. They made R2-D2s years ago, right? What was it? The A New Hope R2, I believe, was made already. Force Awakens R2 was made already. So they've been at least about 3 R2s made, right? C-3POs, though, right? On the other hand, they haven't been made, right? At all for years. Until Episode 2, right, was the first one. Now we have Return of the Jedi, which I just got. I'm making the video actually today for it. So this is what Hot Toys does. Anytime there's something new, right, especially without a head sculpt, that's just that much easier for them to remake, right? To reuse, not remake, reuse. So this is why I was able to tell you guys from the beginning and from that moment, expect variants because it's a no-brainer. Again, especially because it's pieces that could be repainted, right? It's things that are already molded. There's nothing new that they need to engineer. There's nothing new that they need to remake, right? It's already there. All they got to do is just what? Repaint it. Maybe tweak it here and there, certain things if necessary. But they will always make variants out of new molds that they could always reuse. Again, it's very smart as a company. We may not like it. We may be unhappy about it. We may, complain about the constant reuses or the constant repaints. If you don't like it, don't buy it. It's that simple, right? They're not making product for you. If you like it, then it's for you. But if you don't like it, you don't need to sit there bashing it. You don't need to sit there talking shit about it. You don't need to. Just don't buy it. All right, I don't like it. Next. So again, very cool, very different. Definitely, new, right? I've never seen anything like this regarding, Hot Toys and Star Wars at that. How they mixing. Again, it says comic. I'm assuming it's from a comic book. I've never seen this before. I don't know what it is. But to me, right now, it looks like they're mixing, Iron Man Iron Man style with Star Wars, which again, I'm not saying that's what they're doing specifically or literally, but that's what the figure looks like, right? So you got the cannon, the War Machine cannon, right? It's usually the Gatling gun that he's got on his shoulder. He's definitely got the little missile thing, right? But again, $220 for this little tiny repaint. I don't know. The problem with these things are they going to be limited, right? So this is another problem that we're getting into. It doesn't look like it, right? It doesn't look like limited. And when I say limited, I don't mean 1,000 pieces. That's not what I mean. Limited as in how many did they make, right? As a regular run, as a regular batch run, right? We know that the regular batch run is usually over 5,000, right? Maybe even 10,000. Again, have those numbers changed over the years, over the last 3 years, 4 years? Maybe, right? But overall, it's always been, many, many, many thousands of figures. So that's my point. How many of these did they make? Did they make thousands of these? Who knows? How appealing is this for your hardcore Star Wars collector? A lot of people are purists. A lot of people don't want to bother with, other things. They don't want to bother with other looks, other styles of their original Star Wars characters, so that's why it could be tricky, right? Some people collect Star Wars and anything Star Wars they love. So it could go either way, right? It could go, what the hell is this? This is not Star Wars. Why are they doing this? Again, being a comic book, it has to be from somewhere. So if you're a Star Wars fan that reads comics, you're most likely going to see that this is, something appealing or, whatever you decide for yourself. Tim says, from the canon comics, Darth Vader and there you go. So that's why I would never know, because I never read what do you call it? A Marvel comic. So I'm saying, Axel, my friend, welcome. How are you? SJC, how are you, my friend? Thank you for being here. Called 000. There you go, 000. BT-1. BT-1. So the actual name is 000, but they named it BT-1. That's weird. The Thor, how are you, my friend? Welcome. My check reads State Federal and Hot Toys. I gotcha. 000 is the seat. There you go. So that makes sense. Okay, I thought you meant like the name of this was 000. So there you go. So here's a variant, just like I told you was going to happen, just like I always tell you it's going to happen, just like it'll always happen, right? Because it's just that simple. They've been doing it for as long as, I've been around, at least, because it's common sense, Joker Jay, welcome. How are you? Nice to see you. These droids belong to a character called Dr. Afra. 000 is the 3PO there from comics. That's awesome. Well, I'm learning, guys. I'm learning from all of you. C-3PO red eye. Yeah, sick, right? That's awesome. And this one, too. It's got the red eye in there. Afra, not Aphrodite. Dr. Afra works for Vader, and the droids are killer droids. So, that's awesome. See, that's cool. At least you get a backstory, right? I'm still getting these. I don't know what they are, but they're, I like the way they look. The thing is, where are they going to go? Where do they belong, right? You could probably put them, right, anywhere next to any Star Wars figures, and it'll look great. But, for like me, right, for example, like I like keeping my lines together, right? So if it's like New Hope, my little D12 shell for a New Hope. If it's a Bad Batch, my little shelf for the Bad Batch. Obviously, there are more figures in there, but I like keeping my stuff together, right? So it's going to bother me a little bit having to put it with everything else, just because it's like, just look out of place, but it is what it is at this point. If they made the droids, Dr. Alpha isn't far behind. Well, so this is where, this picture comes in, and I'm glad you brought this up, because this is where that picture comes in. So just like I showed you guys just now, I attached the two pictures to the announcements, right? So this is where this picture comes in. Or these two pictures could come in, right? So this is one of them. So this was another tease post that they made, right? So we would be honored if you would join us, right? So what's the point of this? This is hinting at something, right? This was another image that they showed. Just random image out of nowhere, right? So whoever this Dr. Aphra is, right? I'm gonna assume that it's a villain to a level near Darth Vader, or the same level. And also the reason why they showed this picture as well, because this here, oh no, it was that one. Where was it? Where'd it go? This one. So that's what I'm assuming. There's no reason for them to just come out with these pictures like this out of nowhere, right? And even no, it was right. And even this one, right? Even though they're figures, right, that we've gotten already. This is old. This is not new. This is not coming again, right? At least as far as connecting the dots, it doesn't look like it's coming. But they're teasing things related to whatever they're gonna push next. So if you guys know any characters within this comic book world that has the power of, Darth Vader, again, try to attach Dr. Aphra to one of these two characters, whether it's Palpatine or Darth Vader, and you could gauge if the character will be announced or not. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to connect the dots and see how they're planning on doing this. Anthony, how are you, my friend? Welcome. Thank you for being here. Is it a C3PO a doctor? Don't want him. William, welcome.
Hello.
Murder Droids will work with my cousin Dr. Aphra. Oh, he's making one. So can you tell us about this comic book stuff? Do you know anything about it or no?
Yeah.
Jeff, how are you, my friend? Welcome. I can pull my droids together like a happy family. See, that's cool. That probably looks cool. Harold, how are you, my friend? Welcome. Thank you for being here. The Thor says she isn't on Vader's level. She's just cunning almost. Okay, so I was trying to attach it. So, William, please explain to us, if you can, real quickly, the backstory of like that comic. If there is, a point to the comic, or if it's just, regular, just random stories. Because I don't know anything about it.
It's basically just random stories trying to fill in gaps in between like episode 3 and episode 4 when it came to the Dr. Aphra stuff and Darth Vader. They made him like an antagonist against Vader, so it was just them going against each other. Time for some Star Wars knowledge. Yeah, and so obviously the evil droids work with the evil doctor and all that stuff.
So now this actually looking like a war machine. This R2 was a thing
in the comic. Yes,
it looks exactly like this.
Mm-hmm. He has different attachments and whatnot that
right, they swap out, I guess.
Yeah, when you upgrade weapons and whatnot.
Right, so it looks like this is the basic version we're getting, right? Basic model. There's nothing besides those two attachments. As you can see, you could remove them. How do you feel about this? Is this exciting for you, being a hardcore Star Wars, or is it like out of left field? Like, what is where's this going? Why are they making this?
So the character specifically, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna buy it, but it makes me excited that they're not only jumping into the canon or the non-canon legends, books, comics, video games, like everything. So it's not just, okay, we're going to go with some video game stuff like Revan or Starkiller, but we're going to go with some comic book stuff, right here with these droids, which opens up, the full plethora of, 30 years of Star Wars expanded universe books and comics. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Oh, that's crazy. Big Rip, welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here. We got, God says, Aphra is a rogue archaeologist that Vader uses for his ends. Again. Oh, wow, that's awesome. See, these storylines are cool, but if you don't know, like, I've never heard of Dr. Aphra anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, ever. So I would never know that.
The Marvel Star Wars comics after Marvel got the license back.
Also, it is a combination of Marvel and Star Wars.
Well, yeah, it's the Marvel Comics publishes the Star Wars comics now.
So they're like sneaking in stuff of like Iron Man?
It's because Marvel is, owned by Disney.
Right.
And before the Star Wars comics back in the 70s and 80s were published by Marvel, then they were published by Dark Horse.
Right.
For the time. And it was when Disney acquired Marvel, and obviously wants to continue their stuff, they had to wait for the license to expire that Dark Horse already had.
Right.
Now it's Marvel Comics is just the publisher, but it's not like a crossover with any
Oh, gotcha. But the fact that they're adding these like attachments looking like a War Machine, that has nothing to do with, War Machine or Iron Man or anything like that.
Right. No.
Gotcha. Okay. I thought because it looked like it was like, mixing worlds.
I really hope they don't try to do that. They did it back in the late 90s, early 2000s, where it was X-Men and Star Trek.
Oh, that's weird.
And that at least made a little bit of sense because Star Trek is from Earth.
Right.
And and so it was like, interacting with the X-Men and stuff because of some weird, anomaly thing that made the Enterprise come through and all that. You can at least explain that in the comic book sense.
Right.
Star Wars, it's going to be like, okay, the multiverse just kind of, even though they did feature a couple Star Wars planets on What If, when Doctor Strange was popping through all the dimensions, they had like Mustafar.
Right.
The lava planet where Vader got all burned up and all that. That was like, blink and you miss it. But the showrunner was like, yes, that was Mustafar. Good catch. And it's like, I hope it's just an Easter egg and not them being like, ha ha ha, let's see if we can. Because
oh man, Talia Meyer, how are you, my friend? Thank you for being here. Welcome. Marvel got that license after Disney. Thought Dr. Aphra was a nasal spray or shoe inserts. This guy, no X-Men versus Star Wars.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Thule. So, is this something you're going to be getting?
No.
Okay. Now, question for you. So, as you can see, the C-3PO or 000, looks like Edward Scissorhands. What is the point of this? Like, is it like part of his tools that come out of his fingertips? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's basically like a murder droid assassin stuff.
So blades and fire and all that stuff.
Yeah. And so it's like, the red eyes give it away that he's, a bad guy.
Evil, right?
3PO had the red eyes in Rise of Skywalker when they messed up his programming and it was like accessing the Sith knowledge.
Right. No, I like the red eyes from both. You know what I mean? Really nice. Question: is this exciting for you too? The 000?
Like just in the same sense that it's cool to see them going into the comic book stuff because then
but you're not getting it, right?
No.
See, I like the fact that they're doing this. Again, is it going to be die cast? It should, right? But I think what they're trying to do is get people into this line, right? To just make that quick money. Because if we got right an R2 that's die cast, do you remember if the R5D4 is die cast too? It is, right? It's not. It's plastic.
It's plastic. The one from the pit droid one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So it's plastic. So that's what I was trying to get at. So the reason why this is not die cast, right, is because they're trying to make that quick money out of it. Again, strictly reusing the one we got already, because it's the same body, right? This is R5D4, right? Same shape, same everything.
The dome, I think, is a little different.
Right. That's what I said. They have to tweak it one way or another, but it's the same style.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. They must have reused pretty much 95% of the whole figure, repainted, and there's your brand new figure. That's why it's not die cast. That's why the first one wasn't die cast. If it would have been die cast, right, then this would have been 100% die cast because they would have just reused the exact same thing. Now, for 000, I can guarantee you at this moment that when that figure is announced, it will be die cast. Why? Because the two C-3POs that were made already were die cast. If they had made one plastic and one die cast, right, then you're like, oh, they could have reused the plastic one, right? The reason why they wouldn't reuse the plastic one is if it's very old and then the die cast is the 2.0, right? When that happens, it's done. It's very rare, if ever, right? I would have to sit here and think back if they ever went backwards for a plastic piece, right? Or went backwards for a smaller, older figure to reissue something, right? The only one I can think of right now would be that blue and gray WB-100 figure. That it doesn't feel like what was the Batman DX, the DX 19?
12 and 19.
Was it the 19? Yeah, the DX 19, right? When you put that DX 19 next to that blue gray Batman, they look very similar, but that blue gray Batman looks a little bit smaller and it feels a little bit smaller. So could have they used that old body, that DX, what did you say, the DX12?
Yeah.
Yeah, could have they used that DX12 body? Absolutely. Does it make sense? No, because they already have a bigger, bulkier body, which is the DX19. So why would they go backwards? But can they? Of course. They got all these bodies left over. Why not? It was a limited run, so it makes sense, right? Now, let's get into this guy. So, William,
Yes.
as you see, right, and you guys also in the chat, you guys see this thing, even though it looks badass, right? This thing is gorgeous. You see the detail on the armor, right? You see the gauntlets, you see the swords, right? I think the swords are the sexiest things out of this whole figure, besides the helmet, right? I love that face mask. But the two colored swords is very cool. Number one, he's the only one who has it, as far as I know, right? I don't know anybody else who has two different lightsabers. I know even Darth Maul has the two, well, the single one with the two sides, and they're both red. Reva also, the Grand Inquisitor also, right? So he, as far as I know, he's the only one with the two swords, which again, very sexy, very cool. William, tell us a little backstory about this, if you don't mind, who he is and what he's about.
So Darth Revan was the main character of the original Knights of the Old Republic video game, which, was an Xbox and PC exclusive. And the story behind the character is that he was a Jedi named Revan, and his apprentice was Malik, or Alec, sorry. It's not Malik until he's evil. And they were leading basically the armies of the Republic against the Mandalorian conquerors that were trying to take over the galaxy. And because the rest of the Jedi didn't want to go with the war, so they had to kind of break off from the order and push the war effort themselves, because, Jedi peace, blah, blah, blah. And so they were already treading that fine line of the dark side of him and his apprentice. And they ended up out into the unknown regions, and then came back with red lightsabers and, full of anger and hate and dark side, and then led the forces against the Republic after taking out they stopped the Mandalorians, and then decided that, we need to take over everything so we can rule. And then the Jedi sent a strike team against them and ended up wiping his mind. And that's when the video game starts, is you have amnesia. Spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't played a 21-year-old video game. It starts out, you don't know who you are, you make your own name and all that stuff in the game, and then you slowly are getting force visions and nightmares and stuff, and you're learning force abilities back like you're, brand new and all that stuff. And then you realize, oh, I'm Darth Revan. And then the reason he has the two lightsabers is because it's the duality of his character, where he's both light and dark, and you get to choose, because like all role-playing MMORPG whatevers, you get to choose your own path and be light or dark and all that stuff. And
that's all. So this is Star Wars Legends game?
Well, it's Legends is what they call anything before Disney bought them.
Oh, okay.
They made all of those video games, books, comics, and all that stuff from prior to 2010-ish. They call it Legends, where if they don't mention it ever again, it doesn't count. so they've mentioned Revan now on at least have hinted about Revan a couple times now on one of the cartoons and on Ahsoka, and it's just like they're talking about him like, you know, he does exist in universe. We just haven't gotten, you know, any of what the canon backstory is for him. But that's why with all the legend stuff of this and Starkiller being made, makes me pretty excited because, you know, whether you call it alternate universes or what if, in Star Wars they had these comics called Infinites, where that was basically the Star Wars version of what if, where like you ended up with Darth Vader in complete white armor when he was redeemed, but because Leia redeemed him because, you know, I guess a daughter's love and all that stuff was more powerful than Luke. And
Right.
so Vader didn't die on the Death Star, and so he ended up wearing white armor and was trying to make amends for his actions through the rest of his life of, you know, helping people.
So that whole black suit is all white in the comic?
Complete white in
that
that one
would be
comic.
a sick variant.
Yeah, they released that in the 3.5 inch back in the day in one of the little 2-packs that came with comics. Those were a lot of fun.
That's sick.
But
No, I would love an all white Vader, especially an all
Yep.
white Obi-Wan Kenobi Vader. Oh, that'd be sick. Brandon, how are you, my friend? Welcome. Let me know if you want to jump on. Khalid, welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here. Not getting, but they look good. Yeah, no, they look amazing. They're very sexy figures. It's for torture, made for murder, programming to kill, and they enjoy it. They enjoy it. Or for a good time if you're not into that kind of thing. You guys are insane. Who cares about cowbell? I need some cooking Wookie. Beautiful plastic. Body's pretty much the same other than color. No, that's sick. That's awesome. Harold says, I think they're awesome. I only read a few of the comics, but I will 100% getting these. Yeah, no, they're very. I'm getting them, and I don't even know what they are. No, Fab, don't you start. Yeah, I said you want to jump on. All right, hold on. Let me send them the link. Where's Brandon? Here we go. All right, go ahead. You got the link, Brandon. So let's see where we are. Revan is fire. He said swords. Sorry.
What?
No, because I must have said swords instead of lightsabers. So he said
Oh.
sword. He said swords. Oh my god.
Well, Anakin, when he was 10 years old in the Phantom Menace, said laser sword.
That was a thing?
He said it in the movie.
Kumar, welcome. How are you? Thank you for being here. He says with Revan, they need to release Malik. So Malik makes sense. You said his name was Alec and then became Malik?
Yeah, when he fell to the dark side, he became Darth Malik.
You know why it makes sense? Because Mal means what?
Evil.
Bad. Exactly. So that's awesome.
Oh my God, Brandon, you have a lamp?
No, it's the window. It's the window.
It's the window. It's daytime.
He's like,
No, I
I
just happened to. I just like I can't believe I'm here on the show. I'm unshowered, unkempt, and everything.
I can smell through the screen.
Yeah, you can
You
smell,
look
right?
exactly the same.
Thanks, Will. Appreciate that. No, I got super excited, man. I've been living on Facebook since midnight last night, and then I slept for a couple hours. But like the messages I'm getting and the pre-orders and everything are like out of control. Like I've ordered so many of these that it's actually kind of scary.
So many of what?
Revan and Starkiller. Bro, my messages blew up. They absolutely exploded 4 minutes after the announcement last night.
Oh, that's awesome. So how many? Did you order a whole bunch?
I ordered a lot.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this figure
ordered, like it might even be enough for a down payment on a house in some states.
You know what's crazy? I have a feeling that this figure, Revan and Starkiller are going to be, once they're sold out, I think people are going to be like, can I get one?
Oh, at a reasonable price. That's
exactly.
Get ready for that.
Especially
I'm not paying eBay prices.
Especially because of the fact that it's a VGM line. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. There's so many reasons.
Red coin. You wait until I get my red coin Revan.
Wait, what's the
There are
difference? What is the difference between the yellow and the red too? Like, what? I don't get that.
the red one
is only in Hong Kong.
Oh, I gotcha.
But
See,
these
so-
coins, they used to get these coins used to be something that you would get in the 3 3/4 inch figures. For a while, they had
that's where
the
they're from.
coins that came with
Oh.
the little figures, and it would be a commemorative coin of the figure. So if you never opened it, the coin would just be there in the package, you know, looking out the, what do they call them, blister packs or whatever.
Blister packs, yeah.
And you know, so like the Revan 3.5 inch or 3 3/4 inch that I had for quite a while had his little silver commemorative coin that came with.
Oh, so
And
the red is Hong Kong, and then the yellow is Sideshow.
Yeah, and then they have a regular version too, right? Without it, or is that Starkiller?
No. It's
Yeah,
just
the
one
collector's
version.
edition doesn't have it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one
Okay.
version of this. It looks like. So now, Brandon, tell us everything. How do you feel about the announcement? You know, obviously they teased it already, and we knew about it, but now seeing full picture, seeing him, you know, with the lightsaber, seeing everything in your face. How do you feel about it? How do you think it looks? Are you happy with the way it came out? Would you fix anything? Do you think it's missing something? It needs something?
You know, I think we all would have loved to have the Keanu head sculpt. That kind of goes without saying. Like, there's just a weird reason why he's so perfect for that role. I'm super thrilled about this. Like, I hinted at it in the past, and I was waiting for this announcement to hit before I really went into detail. But like, Revan is such an important figure to me personally. You know, I feel like Revan was the first time that there was something outside of a Star Wars movie that I was beyond in love with, because the idea and the concept behind him was so great. I had the games when they first dropped, KOTOR 1 and KOTOR 2, and I never finished either one of them. I think I got like halfway through the first one and I didn't even play the second one. But the neat thing is like I devoured everything that I could get my hands on when it comes to Revan. So like, just to go ahead and build off of what Will was talking about before, something that got missed a little bit is that the whole reason that the Mandalorians were in the known galaxy was because the Sith Emperor from unknown space had sent them after the Republic, saying this is a culture and a population that you cannot defeat. And the Mandalorians they're like the Vikings of space. They live to just travel and conquer and destroy. So it was the Sith Emperor in the background who had like manipulated that whole thing to come into play. And then when Revan chases the Mandalorians into unknown space to, you know, ostensibly to finish the job, that's when he discovers the Sith Empire. And he becomes a prisoner of the Sith Emperor for something like 300 years while the Emperor just feeds off of him. And
Just
that's why,
quick.
you know, he
Real quick, it sounds like you're describing what Palpatine did, trying to play everybody.
Okay, similarly, it was yeah, a little bit similar.
You're jumping
but, I mean,
around a little bit. You're jumping around.
I don't know about that. No, because when he goes
to the unknown regions,
right,
Revan and Malik swore allegiance to the Emperor.
I don't know. They swore allegiance to
they used the Starforge. They created the fleet.
Right.
They went out. Then he got mind wiped. And then when he went back out to the unknown regions afterwards, that is when he was imprisoned for the Old Republic computer game, and had the novel Revan where it shows him going out there and getting captured. And then he fed off of him for all that time. And then you had crazy crackhead Revan that you fight in the
crazy crackhead Revan.
Crazy crackhead Revan.
I really thought what they did to him in the Star Wars MMO was kind of, I mean, it was decent storytelling, but I thought he deserved a lot better. But yeah, no, there's like
him, and that was basically the computer version of fan service, and it just didn't give a good ending, because, you know, having the going out to the unknown regions and not knowing what happened, okay, that's an ending. Having a novel of him going out and being a prisoner and you're just waiting for more, that's an ending. Having, you know, I'm insane now in a cave.
Yeah, and there's like 2 spirits and all that kind of weird shit.
Yeah. And then it's just, you know, okay. But
yeah, no, but like Revan is like just such a great character, because he's the only character in Star Wars, at least, that, you know, since I was devouring everything, that actually had mastered both the light and the dark sides of the Force. So like that's I always thought that was a really bitchin' way to develop a character. You know, make him a good guy and a bad guy, and then kind of let the reader decide which way he wants to lean on it. And you know, I got into some really, really heavy nerd stuff when I was, 19, 20 years old. I know, I was like, oh, let's go to war. But no, I started writing characters. Like, it started in Ultima Online in 1999. I started writing characters and stories, religions, and things like that, and I got really out of control with it. And you know, when we left Ultima Online, it was going to be, well, now we're going to World of Warcraft. How do we fit our story? Because we're all role players, and there was so much time we'd spent into developing characters and storylines and stuff. How do we write these characters going into a new game? And then we had the same thing when we went in 2011, when we went from World of Warcraft, we moved the guild to Star Wars: The Old Republic, and Revan kind of became a catalyst for our story. Like, he gave us the opportunity, because our story was always like two conflicting gods. It wasn't that one was good and one was evil. It was that one was this type and one was that type, and that was it. So they had they had a requirement for the other to exist, so that way everything else could exist. It was a really intricate storyline, and Revan kind of gave us that bridge into the Star Wars universe. So Revan became like a messianic figure in our story. So I'm really, really excited to see this one. I would have liked to have seen him in a cleaner build. Like, you're looking at all the scrapes and the scratches on the armor and stuff, and the tattered capes. I my personal preference is, before everything was tattered and everything was worn out. But still, I'm so in on this fig. I mean, like, honestly, I'll keep two for myself, and I don't even know why. Like, one will go on display, and I don't even know why I'll keep the second one. You know what I mean? Like,
No, there are some figures that make you want to do that. Like, for example, the Sasha Calle Supergirl. I'm buying, her, just the fact that she's Colombian, whether you guys like the role, like, it didn't matter to me, right? She's Colombian. I'm getting one for my display and probably one sealed, and just keeping her in the box, just because, to me, that it's meaningful, right?
Yeah.
It makes sense why you want to do that. I know some figures make people want to do that,
Yeah, and this is definitely one of those.
Now, how do you feel about any future variants of this?
There's definitely going to be a light side one coming. We might not see them for a couple of years, but they've got the molds now. If they're producing this, then they can absolutely make the light side version. It's just the color of the soft goods and some paint apps. So I'm absolutely positive we'll see a light side version.
If Fear ever finishes the remaster for the PS5 exclusive of the re-release of Knights of the Old Republic, then
I heard they got hit with a C&D on that.
Well, they were doing it for Disney, so
who was doing it?
Aspire,
yeah. Okay, well, then maybe I'm thinking of somebody else, because I remember seeing a demo run in Unreal, whatever the latest Unreal Engine is, and then I read like 2 weeks later that Disney had hit them with the C&D. So maybe they did that because they have this coming.
I don't know. They it's the same company that did the Battlefront re-release, and they did the Switch ports of Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 and all that stuff. So it's all like
okay, so it is legit then. It's not a fan service.
It's going to be PS5 exclusive, and PC, and with 4K graphics and all that nonsense. And I'm waiting. It'll make me buy a PS5.
Yeah, I mean, I'll stick with the PC version.
But if it comes out, then hands down, the white one from the light side ending will be a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. That, and I think, and I might be jumping the gun a little bit here since we're on Revan, but just to visit Starkiller quickly, I think we're definitely going to see a different revision of him as well. I mean, when you get into the VGM line, like the Star Wars video games are great simply for the fact that, I mean, never mind the good storytelling and whatnot, but when you have a Star Wars video game that you play, like, your decisions in the game, the RPGs, like Will was saying, the RPGs, but when you play the Star Wars RPGs, every decision that you make in the game earns you light side or dark side points. And then your appearance and the ending of the game and the story changes based on those decisions that you make. So I think specifically we're going to get different versions of this one and of Starkiller. So.
Now, first, William, I think you were correct. There is Revan, regular, and exclusive. So the exclusive comes with the coin, right? Also, Brandon, to continue your point, speaking on both having different variants, right? Would they be? Do you think that they would be branded the same thing, Legends, because of they come from the same video game or the same?
If there's one, yes, there's one thing that kind of bothers me about that. If they brand this Legends and they do like a whole different cigar band, they've got to do them both the same way, man. Like I'm a nut for that sort of shit. Like you can't have one mark Legends and the other one not, simply because they released the game by Disney at that point.
Right.
So I'm really hoping that, maybe that's just an art frill where they're saying, they're reminding you, okay, now he's not exactly canon, but here's another character, and that it's not going to be on the box. But if it is, I hope they do both of them or all four of them in this case. Because my box art has to match, bro.
So the reason why I ask is because, number one, they've never made a Revan before, right?
Right.
Number two, going with what William had spoken on regarding Starkiller's backstory and how he did have different outfits, right, throughout the game. That's where that question comes from, right? So, so if it's already known that there are different styles or different looks to each character, and again, we know, as you saw, they repainted R5D4, they repainted C3PO. It's not something new. It's very common. It's not going to stop. So, the reason I'm asking this question is, would it make sense as well, right? We know that these two figures, Starkiller and Revan specifically, the hype for these two figures is incredible right now.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Just period.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Again, on one of the shows, right, on the Real One show, we had a tool tell us that Hot Toys would never make any of this. That even though we were veterans, that how can we expect Hot Toys and how can we think Hot Toys would ever make any of this? Here we are.
Was that Daniel?
That was Daniel. Exactly.
Was it really? I was kidding.
No, 100%. He left it on one of the streams, a comment, and he's like, "Oh, for being veterans, you guys don't know what you're talking about. You give Hot Toys too much credit. They'll never make any of this." And literally, we talked about Starkiller and Revan being made. So anyway, so me knowing this, right? Me knowing that they reuse stuff and they reissue stuff. Again, the fact that they have variants already, you better believe that this is not the first time you're going to see these, right? Especially if they sell very well, which they look like they're gonna.
Dude, I think this is going to be the first figure in years that we've seen that is going to go sold out. It's not going to go waitlist before it ships. It's not going to go waitlist full. It's going to be sold out before it ships. I feel confident about these two.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bold thing to say, but I don't doubt it, because again, this is something that, at least, right? At least I'm not a hardcore Star Wars fan, and I want it because it's a badass figure. So I can only imagine. So I can only imagine what real hardcore Star Wars fans are going through right now, seeing these two.
Oh yeah.
So my is that I just got to get this out because I got to go back into work.
Go ahead.
So Revan and Starkiller, the first two right now, I was so happy that they're not, limited to 500 worldwide or anything, nutty like that. But I could definitely see the Starkiller variants and the white Revan.
That's it.
A Toy Fair exclusive, a Hong Kong exclusive,
a all day long
Echo base, any of that. Be like, oh,
yeah,
there's only 1,000. Cool.
Yep.
That everyone had a chance to order the other ones, and and it's in plenty, because I guarantee you, if 50,000 people were to pre-order it this week, they're gonna make 50,000 of them.
That's exactly.
But if only 2,000 people order it because of whatever reason, which those aren't realistic numbers, then it'll be like Crosshair again, where everybody's like boo-hoo, 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 and then when they release another variant of it and it's super limited, then they're going to be crying nonstop that Hot Toys hates us and this, that, and the other. And it's like, well, you aren't ordering the pre-ordering, because some people don't like to pre-order anymore because of how much money that they appear to have lost. Just because you can get something cheaper later, if you don't get it when you could have got it, then hindsight's always 20/20.
Right.
But it's like, all the time I buy something and then I see it on sale and I'm like, oh, good, it's 20% off now. Well, That sucks. But I still have my figure. I still have what I
Right.
want for my collection. Because
Yeah.
if you're going to sit there and be like, oh, I'll wait for it to be in stock so I can use a coupon. And I agree with Brandon. I don't think this is ever going to get in stock, even with
Yeah.
the 2 different SKUs, because
Right.
it's only going to be, it's not a bottomless pit. It's not the Armorer. They learned their lesson.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's not Rex. It's like this is a huge profile. Both of these figures are huge profile characters. So I think that something that we've discussed, in the background when we weren't live, was that I think that the days of seeing Hot Toys figures in stock, specifically Star Wars, because I don't mess around in the other properties, but I think the days of seeing them in stock have really come to an end, and we saw that with the new runs that we're seeing in terms of producing new characters and such. Crosshair was a perfect example. We know he's a little bit of an anomaly, but Wrecker is following in pace. Everything, I feel like everything after Crosshair, we're going to see more limited quantities of, because Sideshow just isn't bringing as many into the country as they used to. They went ahead, they got burned on characters like Rex, like the Armorer, when they thought, "Hey, have a good one, Will." Did we lose his audio? I think
No, he's walking.
Okay. Yeah, I think the days of seeing figures in stock are gone. And
I don't.
so
You're talking about
get your
Star Wars
pre-orders in now.
specifically, correct?
Star Wars specifically. Yeah, I don't mess around in the IPs in the other IPs too often to really know, but I'm seeing a pattern and I'm seeing a trend, as far as this goes. We're seeing figures become waitlisted way more quickly than they used to be, and I think it's just a matter of limited quantities.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Willie, we're out of here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it switched back over to the Bluetooth. My bad. I was
Oh.
saying I got to go back inside. Thanks for having me, and hopefully I'll get into the chat if work allows me.
All right, cool. Thank you for being here. I'll talk
Right
to
on,
you.
man.
All right, bye, guys.
Have a good one.
All right, so real quick, a message from Kumar letting us know that the Clone Wars Darth Sidious is releasing soon. That's going to be an amazing looking figure as well. Very, very nice. I'm trying to hold on. Let me see. Okay, good. All right, so we have that. Let me see.
So all that to say, guys, get your pre-orders in with me today. Get them in. Make sure you're going to get your fig. In fact,
Now,
since
question
Fabs
for
is
you.
sitting here trying to catch up on notes, I'll put it out there and I'll put it loud for everybody who's watching the stream. Okay, if you send me a private message with a screen capture of your shopping cart through Sideshow, okay, on your Revan, I'll do it for Revan and Starkiller. Okay, send me a screenshot and I will beat the price that Sideshow gives you.
Ooh, look at that, guys. See what happens when you watch the Hot Toys Veteran? See what
That's
happens?
how we roll around here.
See what happens? The deals you guys always get. Unbelievable. That's awesome. Thank you. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Yeah, so that's actually a very interesting point. And I'm with you with that regarding these two figures. Again, they're for hardcore Star Wars fans, these figures, are probably figures again that even fans never expected, right? They never expected Hot Toys to make this because they know, right, that where they going to get this figure from. Even though some collectors out there, right, not very experienced collectors, but some collectors, they just, they'll never make that, right?
Yeah.
Or they'll say, I want that, but I know they'll never make that.
Yeah, and I mean, a big part of that is...
Go ahead.
I was going to say that a big part of that is that, Disney stepped in and the first thing that they did is decanonize everything. If it wasn't in the films, then it wasn't real anymore. So I think a lot of collectors kind of gave up hope when it came to, are we going to get this epic figure that we've always wanted? Oh, well, Disney wiped the slate clean, so we're not going to get any of that. So I think that this is a very clear indication, too, that we're going to see Revan become canon in the near future. I think they're going to do it with the Ahsoka series, probably a season 3 thing.
That'd be sick. That would be awesome. And not only that, but some of the features. So as you can see, the figure is very basic, right? There's nothing to the figure whatsoever. I don't know. I don't know, what he, besides the lightsabers, I don't know what he uses as weapons, on the comic or whatever, wherever he appeared, right? But as you can see, literally 3 pairs of hands, right? Extra, assuming that we're including the ones that are on, so 4 total.
Sure.
You got the very plain generic base, right? There's nothing fancy about this. We've gotten these painted in different colors over the years. The outfit, right? Nothing crazy, very pleated skirt looking
Sure.
thing. And the lightsabers. That's it. As you can see, LED lightsaber powered by USB. So we're getting probably that power pack again, like we did for Darth Vader. Which I don't mind that at all. It looks like you can hide it behind his cloak and his outfit, so that's good, right? The thing is those wires, man. I don't, it's a cool idea, right? But to have to run wires down your arms or your figures and try to blend them in and try to like hide them. I think if So Toys gave us magnetic lighting.
Oh yeah, these guys need to get on the ball too.
Why is Hot Toys not doing that?
Yeah, it's. I think right now, it's hard to say because I feel like it would be prohibitively expensive because there are a couple things that have to be done. They would have to replace wrist pegs altogether. Otherwise, they're having to wire through the entire body, and that's never going to be a thing. So what they're going to have to do is they would have to do induction. They would have to do induction plates in the base of the wrist, in the base of the arm. Okay, so you have a whole new, not a whole new mold for bodies, but a whole new mold at least for the arm.
For the forearm.
Okay, and then you're going to have to wire through the body. So you're probably going to need a whole new body design. So you have to wire through the body and then have an induction plate in the foot as well. So then the only time he's going to light up is when he's standing on the base. I can see that being a thing because they're going to, at that point, you're getting value add with the base, and then you'll actually want to use the bases.
Right. Your figure's going to be $500.
Exactly. And I think that's the only reason why we haven't seen it. It's different when you have a third-party application in that regard because they can go ahead and they can do it whatever way that they're going to do it. But when you're on the level of Hot Toys, I mean, not only is there designing and producing it, but then there's also quality assurance as well. What happens when you have a bad shipment go out and you've got 5,000 figures out there that don't work properly, and 1,000 of those people are on their YouTube channels talking about what a piece of crap it is. You definitely don't want that. So I'm sure it's something that you're going to see in the future, just not anytime soon.
Right. Thor says already DOP. Oh, look at you. Albert, how are you, my friend? Welcome. Primo, look at this guy. I haven't seen this guy. When was the last time I saw Primo? Primo, I saw maybe early 2023, if not 2022.
Well, welcome back.
Yeah, where have you been?
I'm doing.
Oh man. Anthony says, where do I get that? Oh, look at that. You got a customer, Brandon.
Okay, so let me go ahead and I'm going to drop a link in the chat that's just to my private Facebook page. Gosh, how should I do this? I should probably do this through Scrapyard, huh? Let me see. I'll drop a link. I'll drop a link in the chat, and you can reach out there.
Brandon, Kumar says Revan is already canon, mates. Revan is a Sith Trooper Legion based upon the book of the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Kumar, we don't do that here. No, man. Here, let me show you the exit, bro. It's right over this way.
It's like, let me show you the. So wait, so he's wrong? I don't get it.
So, no, I don't think he's wrong. We don't recognize sequels. Force Awakens.
Oh, I got you.
Everything from
So
Last
it's
Jedi
because of those movies, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because of Rian Johnson, we'll put it that way. Fab, if you want to highlight my comment, the comment that I just dropped, okay, folks can reach out to me through that page. You go to Facebook, the Zapco Scrapyard, send me a message there, and I'll absolutely get to your message. I will send you. We do orders via PayPal invoice, so we'll send you an invoice with a 50% down, and then you can pay $1 a week if you want. Doesn't matter. The only thing that I ask is that it's paid off when I tell you, bro, your figure is going to drop in the next 3 days, 5 days. Make sure it's paid off. That way, as soon as it hits the ground, I can put a label on it and get it out to you next day. Well, get it out to you the same day.
So you know, whatever message you posted, then it never came through. So Jeff says, because Soso Toys is the best. Absolutely. Soso Toys is the best third-party company. Soso Toys is better than InArt. Put it that way. Okay? Sosa Toys is better than InArt. And that technology that they gave us, that magnetic light up feature, better than Hot Toys because they're not doing that. So Sosa Toys is out of their league right now with that Moon Knight figure, with that Mr. Knight figure. All three males, welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here. You made it. You made it. Chris says, yeah, I ordered already. I'm sorry I could have ordered with you. Oh, he ordered already.
Hey, what I'll tell you is this. I've called Sideshow.
But Anthony's he's waiting for you. So, and like I said, your message never came through on the screen. So,
I put it in private chat on Steam chat, and then I've got it in the YouTube chat as well.
Oh, but you posted it on the chat already?
Yeah. Okay, let me write it something more descriptive. Hang on.
Well, it never popped up. It never popped up on the chat, I don't think, because I didn't get it on my end. So I don't know if maybe let me try to share it myself. Because they didn't go through. But yeah, I think you're 100%
I'm going to post
right.
a descriptive
I think you're
100%.
I think you're 100% correct regarding what you said about these being sold out before they even hit waitlist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not waitlist before they're released. Let's see who else is in here real quick. Cassandra, welcome. How are you? Thank you for being here. Happy Monday. Welcome. Chris says next time. Yeah. So Anthony's waiting for you, Brendan. One thing that worries me, that amount of Vader pleather on the Starkiller. Well, yeah, let's get into it right now. Because we talked about Revan enough. So here's Starkiller, guys. So he's going for $270. We got two versions for the same price. Exclusive. We get those coins again. It looks like we're getting the yellow coins from Sideshow again. Yep. I don't know. It doesn't look like we're getting red coins for this one overseas. Maybe we are. I don't know. I don't know right now. But Brandon, getting into all right, I posted it. Anthony said thank you. Good. All right. Awesome. Get that deal, Anthony. Get that deal. So as you can see, guys, so again, this is my first time looking at these. I saw that they were out, but I didn't go through the pictures at all. So right off the bat, the one thing I noticed is, as you can see, the Darth Vader suit. This is a Darth Vader suit, 100% reused. But what I want to do is let's go to the actual images where I could zoom in. So Brandon, these blade fingers, is that like his standard suit, or is that like a weapon that he adds on?
No, so Starkiller, coming down to light side versus dark side choices throughout the game. This is the end of the dark side train. So he basically gets wrecked and is rebuilt in kind of like a slave inside of this armor. Like, I mean, he's done. He's checked out. So I think they called this one the Sith Stalker armor. And the finger blades, like, it's all just super intimidating stuff. Like, the entire point of him was to cause terror when somebody looked at him. I totally get the feedback that we're starting to see on the Vader style pleather suit. I mean, I haven't had any issues with that type of suit. All I do is I 303 mine. I have the 303 wipes, and I just take them and rub them down like every 6 months or so. And I've never had an issue over 2 years of collecting. And Vader was one of my first figures. And I've never had an issue with his gear.
The 303 seals the what do you call it? The material, right?
Is that it's something. I don't know. I think it's like, remember when we used to use Armor All on the dashboard in our cars?
Yes.
Before we paid people to do that.
Yeah, it seals it.
Right.
It's like a seal.
So that's what I think it is. It's basically Armor All for pleather. But yeah, so that said, I've never had an issue with it. I wasn't too thrilled when I saw that. I mean, I was excited because it said Starkiller on the screen, so like I freaked out. But once I calmed down and I looked really closely at the pictures, that suit does disappoint me a little bit, but it's not a deal breaker by any means.
Why?
And,
Why does that?
I get it.
Bother you?
The suit bothers me because I think we're going to see, like, somebody made a joke to me last night, and it was BDSM Starkiller. So yeah, I feel like it gives kind of a weird vibe. Like I get what they were reaching for, and what they were reaching for was a nod, was like fan service, or at least to relate him to Vader, which I totally get. And it wasn't a bad decision. I just feel like maybe if we would have done it with stitching in a different direction or something, just a little bit, something else, something slightly different would have helped it quite a bit, I think. But that said, I think we're going to. I think it's only a negative thing because we're going to see a lot of people pissing on it over, the fact that it's pleather as opposed to being something else that won't break down.
How do you like
So
how do you like the ponytail? Because I didn't even know he had one.
I thought that was neat because when I played Force Unleashed for the first time and I finished and I started wearing this armor and playing the game, um, I was always kind of confused. I'm like, is that supposed to be a ponytail or is that supposed to plug into something? So I
But it
kind of
is a
like it. I
ponytail,
think,
right?
yeah, I think it's meant to be. Which is funny because he doesn't have long hair throughout the entire game. So I
Oh,
think
really?
if it is a ponytail, it kind of shows you that, maybe he's been in stasis or stored away for, a certain amount of time.
Now,
But
please explain. Please explain real quickly. Oh wait, we got a super chat from Primo. Thank you, my friend. Oh my God, that's awesome. Yeah, this is for you.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you, bro.
No, you.
No, thank you, bro.
Thank you.
No, thank you, bro.
No, seriously, you.
No, seriously, thank you, bro.
No, for real, you.
No, thank you.
Thank you, my friend. That's awesome. I appreciate it. You know that. So what I wanted you to explain was the two lightsaber thing. Why does he get to?
that's how he trained. The Old Republic kind of pushed the game. The Old Republic, the MMO, kind of pushed the idea that you have three basic Sith archetypes. One is the Inquisitor, who relies more on Force powers and Force abilities. Then you have the Juggernaut, which is your archetypal tank. Who like Darth Vader would be a Juggernaut. He fights with one lightsaber, and he's just massive and imposing. Like he's not super aerobatic or acrobatic. He just walks in and destroys shit one pound after another. And then you had the Marauders that were very acrobatic, did the flips and the twists and that sort of thing, and they wielded two lightsabers. He was the first character that we saw that wielded two lightsabers in reverse grip. So I always thought that was kind of neat. That's how they hooked people. It was like when you had the Phantom Menace drop, like you hooked new fans by debuting the saber staff. When Darth Maul ignites both ends of his lightsaber, it's like, oh my god.
Right.
So this was kind of like the same thing when they did that with Starkiller, because I don't remember when Force Unleashed dropped. I want to say it was early 2000s, but that was that was the moment. That was the moment that they hooked you with a new lightsaber style. With Acolyte, the new show, they're trying to do it with Light Whip, I think, and I'm just like.
Rob, welcome. Thank you for being here. He says, Star Wars all day. This is his ish right here. Now, question, Brandon. I'm noticing all these hills.
Yeah.
What is this about?
Those are trophies. So in the first game, Vader sends him out. Like, this is before Inquisitors were a thing, because Inquisitors came canon from Disney, with season 7. I think it was season 7, Clone Wars. So Vader's secret apprentice is tasked with tracking down and killing the remaining Jedi. And in the game, they make it sound like we see now that there's always hidden Jedi. There were so many Jedi that got away, which you kind of figure makes sense. A lot of them would have gotten away or would have been in a different scenario when Order 66 dropped. But these are the lightsabers of every Jedi Master that you kill, or every Jedi that you kill as you play throughout the game.
Oh,
So
wow,
it's a really neat nod.
So right now he's got 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's only, I guess, 2 are his and then 2 are trophies.
I think the 2 that are his are probably in his hands or on different kinds of hooks.
Well,
But
this one's one.
if I remember, if I remember the game correctly, there were like 5. I want to say 5 Jedi that you had to go after and kill. Might have been 6. That's good to know. I didn't recognize that. But and then one of them, Maris Brood was one of them, and I don't think he winds up with her lightsabers after he kills her. But yeah, they're just trophies from the Jedi that he's slain. So
And
that's a neat nod.
Now, question. William kind of explained, where Starkiller comes from, right? So he's Vader's secret apprentice. when would have this happened in the movies? During which time? Because during when he was Anakin, Ahsoka was his apprentice. So when as Vader did he do this?
So this was
Like, give me a timeline, like a time frame, like
between
in a movie.
it was between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope.
Oh,
Okay,
okay. So during that
because
gap.
right, it was during the gap. So and I mean it fits with all the Sith lore that we've learned where, a Sith apprentice will take his own secret apprentice in order to overthrow the emperor. So it was after obviously it was after Luke was born. But this story goes on for quite a while because they always have like in the first game when you finished the game and then you only saw like you thought you weren't going to get to play in this armor, but then the game starts over again and then you start the game from the beginning with that armor. So that was kind of the Easter egg in the first game. In the second game, when you finish the game, if you went dark side, then you play through very quickly. You play through the events of, I want to say it's Empire Strikes Back and A New Hope, and then you encounter, it's like an alternate history type of game because you encounter the main characters from those films and then have to take them on. Like there's a whole fight scene between Starkiller and Old Ben that takes place as Han Solo is trying to leave Tatooine with everybody. Ben says, I'm going to go out there and take care of this, and then winds up, getting absolutely destroyed by Starkiller. And then you fight Old Ben's ghost, his Force ghost as well. So, and then you wind up fighting. I want to say you fight Luke. Is it Luke on Hoth? I think you fight him, and it just kind of takes you through, some this could have happened, some what ifs from the end of the game. So I feel like you're gonna get there's gonna be a fair bit of nostalgia in that regard.
No, that's exciting. That's exciting for you guys, who know the storyline, who know
Yeah.
the backstories of everything. I want to pull up something real quick because I'm noticing. So it looks like, right? It looks like where is it? So it looks like
I think you need a
Starkiller.
few more tabs open.
It looks like Starkiller is 12.2 inches, right? I'm gonna look to see what the height of this last Obi-Wan Vader was, because I want to see if they're making him as tall as a Darth Vader, as bulky as a Darth Vader, even though right from the pictures right now, as you can see, he looks very thin, right? It looks very, very
Yeah,
thin.
he shouldn't be like Vader. Like when you use the word juggernaut, that accurately describes Vader. Vader was huge. Um, Galen Merrick, Starkiller, was yeah, thin guy. I mean, he was a youngster. He was like 20 something in the game when, Vader finds him as a baby and raises him. So he's like 20 something in the game, early 20s, and he's just, he's agile, thin. He's like Anakin, like Padawan Anakin there.
So he
But
is. Let's see.
yeah, there you go. So
Let's see
that
Darth
makes
Vader.
sense. 13.7 inches.
Where is it? Where did you read that?
Right there.
Am I missing it?
The screenshot with the apple. Yeah.
Oh wait, with the apple here. 13.
there
Yeah.
it is.
So he's smaller than Vader, right? So he's smaller
Yeah,
than
and he
Vader.
should be.
Which makes sense. I just wanted to know because obviously we know that Vader is supposed to be this big, taller, massive guy, right? Just because of the armor, just because of everything. So my thought was, since all these guys are supposed to be these badasses and they're all dark side and they're also, I assume, especially something that looks like this, he looks like Vader, right? To a certain extent. The suit, right? The whole black, the helmet, a little bit like Vader,
Sure.
not 100%, but a little bit. So I thought maybe Revan's going to be that at least near that same height. Starkiller also being that same height. So I wanted to make sure that wasn't the case, and it's not, right? Darth Vader will always, it looks like he will always be bigger and taller than everybody else.
Yeah, and he should be.
And also, guys, it looks like we do have exclusive for this as well. As you can see, we have the 2 coins. Also, we got yellow and we have red. See, exclusive. So here's the yellow from them. And then if we go to here, it looks like we may get the 2 coins.
Might be just the yellow one.
Yeah, I think
Maybe I'm wrong.
so. Yeah, so this one, no, here it is. So
there
we're
it is. Okay, cool.
we're getting 2 reds from Revan and Starkiller, and then 2 yellows also from them as well. So William said that these are Hong Kong exclusives only. I didn't know that, right? So does this really matter to you to get a red one, right? It makes sense if you're
Don't give a shit. Don't care.
right. No, but I'm saying if you want to keep it like, dark side red, you know what I mean? That's when it'll look cooler, right? The yellow one, is it really going to match with the
Yeah.
display? Not really, but does it really matter? No, does it's
Right.
going to
That's kind of where I'm at with it too.
right? Like, is the coin, the color of the coin, really going to change your mind about which figure you're going to? Absolutely not. Like absolutely not. But that there are people out there who will only order overseas to get that red one because they know that there's
Sure.
meaning behind it. They know that it's that it's more meaningful to them. To me, right? It is what it is. I already know that I already don't know anything about these coins. So to me, that doesn't mean anything. Obviously, I'm gonna go for the exclusive because it's common sense to me, right?
Yeah.
Just to have the exclusive item, but does it have meaning to me? Like, absolutely not. Because I don't know anything about it. TX boy, welcome. How are you? Nice to see you, man. These figures look so dope pose for me for sure. Absolutely. Nefty, how are you, my friend? Welcome. So, the next topic we're going to get into real quickly before we get out of here, and we're going to go over this also, guys, tomorrow. And also before I forget, while I have you guys here, and I talked about this already. Wednesday nights, okay? Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. I already mentioned it on Saturday, but I'm mentioning it again for you guys who didn't watch Saturday. Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Okay. New show. The show, what it's going to be about, it's literally a panel show talking about whatever we want, talking about anything pop culture, our own stories. Obviously, if you're not a person who watches and gets involved in the conversation, then it's not going to be for you. Obviously, the more people get involved, the more topics we talk about. It's going to be all over the place, right? It's just conversations with a panel. So it's going to be very fun. So stay tuned. And if you guys think that, it'll probably start slow, right? Trying to figure out what we're going to talk about. But when it picks up, just remember this. So we got the trailer for Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine, right? So the one thing I picked up immediately, shout out to Rudy because he messaged me about it right away too. I had already taken the pictures of it. As you can see, we got 2 looks of Wolverine already, just from the trailer. So we got arm, and I think we saw this already, but we got bare arms, right? So like the Thor figure that we've gotten over the years, right? They give us the replacement arms. They'll give us the covered up arms. So this is the exposed arms, and here they are covered. Okay. So that's probably going to be a deluxe figure there. I can guarantee you most likely the mask will appear, right? That Wolverine mask. I have a feeling that maybe post-credit scene at the end of the movie or something, like you have to give us that last Wolverine look. You know what I mean? Like
I'm kind of hoping that they're going to open the movie with that look.
they
You know,
can't.
I mean, Wolverine. You don't think so? I think they could open
can't. You
it
know
with.
why? Because they got to build up to it. Because they know everybody knows that that's the most iconic Wolverine look. So they can't
But
start
can
off.
you see? I mean, you're not wrong, but couldn't you see like it opening with him in that look taking on Deadpool, and the whole time Deadpool's mouthing off about how Disney screwed up by going ahead and by not building up to
That'd be
the
sick.
mask release at the end?
That'd be
You know what I
sick.
mean? Because that's what that's what Deadpool did. Is he was a fourth wall breaker nonstop. I mean, if in case you don't know, which I don't know who would be here wouldn't know, but I think that would be kind of funny. That would be a
Well,
great way to
if
do
you
it.
pay attention to the trailer, the whole
Uh-huh.
trailer was hilarious already.
Was it? I haven't seen it yet. I
Oh
saw
my
I
God.
saw
Just a little
right before
comment.
I went to sleep.
I'm
Right
telling you,
before I went to sleep, and
it's gonna
all the
be
pre-order
hysterical.
madness.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
hysterical.
yeah.
So that's why I think it's going to be a great movie. But I think that may be an exclusive piece that they give us, right? The mask. I don't know if they're going to do it as a separate piece or a some type of hood attachment, right? We don't know yet, but that's what I saw. Very exciting. you said you don't collect these, but how do you feel about, finally getting that iconic suit or that iconic
Oh,
look?
I think it's wonderful. I went ahead and there was a guy in the groups who took it was a team suit, Tony, and he stripped it down and painted it in this style. And I'm actually pretty blown away by how accurately he nailed it. So it looks really, really good, and it looks just like this. And I thought, gosh, that would make a great figure if they ever released them. If they ever release a licensed version. And sure
Right.
enough, like here we are. I mean, definitely, I can't see there not being figures from this movie. Like this is such a big deal because not only is it Deadpool 3, not only is it introducing the X-Men into the MCU or what is, what we consider the MCU, but like it's the first Disney Deadpool movie. Like there's gonna be it's gonna be a little outrageous. And from what I've seen in the teasers and stuff, like he already, golden showers Disney throughout. You know what I mean? Like he
Golden
definitely
Showers
gets
Disney.
his licks in. So
Kumar says a good screaming Wolverine. Yes, yes. You have to get that iconic
yeah,
him
like
really
with the drool
angry
coming down the
with
corners of his mouth and stuff and
with
foam.
the blades out. Yep, absolutely. So that's a
Totally.
must. That's a must, 100%. Do I think they will do that? They have to now that we're gonna get a deluxe. That would be
Yeah.
great, right? Do we often get 2 head sculpts with Hot Toys? Depends, right? Depends on the figure. Depends on does it justify it? Does it warrant it? Right? That's how we get them. Do you think this is the last Wolverine movie ever with Hugh Jackman?
I don't think it's the last Wolverine movie. I think it's the last Hugh Jackman Wolverine movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I think we all thought that with Days of Future Past, and I think it took a lot to get Hugh Jackman back to do this again.
well, with Logan, remember Logan was the last one.
Oh, was Logan the last one? I thought
Future
maybe Future Past came out
No,
first.
Logan was when he died. Yeah, that one came out first.
Oh,
Then
that's
Logan.
right. Old Man Logan.
Yeah, Old Man
Right.
Logan. Right. Yep. And then Rudy says, I'm pulling a Fabs move. Might have to get 2 of these. I'm getting 2 of these 100%. When are we ever going to get this yellow suit again? With Hugh Jackman. Like Brandon said, we don't. This is definitely not the last time we're going to see Wolverine ever, right? But as Hugh Jackman, most likely. So to have him with that suit will be iconic because he's been our Wolverine since day one, right?
Yeah, since day one, absolutely.
Right. He's been our Tony Stark. You know what I mean? So that's who we know as Wolverine. That's the only actor we've known as Wolverine. So that's why it's going to be an iconic figure. Again, it'll make him more iconic having that mask. The 2 looks of the exposed arms and covered arms. That's going to be a classic set to have side by side, especially if, like Kumar said, they make the 2 head sculpts. It'll be an epic figure. Brandon, you have anything else to add?
Not so much on Deadpool and Wolverine. Just backing up what you said. Like we're of that generation where the first time we saw Wolverine, we didn't see brown suit Wolverine like my dad did. You know what I mean? We had yellow suit Wolverine. We had the animated series on Fox on Saturday morning. That's what we had. So I think this is definitely a huge win for the collectors in our generation. I think it's a no-brainer, 100%.
Absolutely. No, it's a great figure to own, right? I have every single Hugh Jackman Wolverine ever made by Hot Toys. And besides, actually, I don't have the last one. I still got to get that one. What is it, that 1973 one?
Yeah.
Still got to get that one, deluxe exclusive, but I'm waiting to get it as cheap as possible because that thing's not going anywhere. So that's what
hit me up. I might be able to get you a decent price.
Oh, good, awesome. Yeah, that's why I haven't gotten it because I know, I only get the deluxe exclusives. They're a thing. But that one, because the mess up, I think it turned a lot of people off, even though they fixed it 1, 2, 3, right? We get the replacement sticker for the base that says Wolverine instead of Wolverine. So people got turned off by that, and I guess they said, you know what, I'm not even getting the figure, and that's why it's just sitting. It's been sitting forever, and I'm watching it. I'm like, oh, I don't want to miss out on the deluxe exclusive because I don't want to overpay for that. So I've been watching it. It's not going anywhere. So that's a figure that's coming soon. But guys, what was I going to say? I was going to say something.
It sounded deep.
Yeah, no, it was. I don't know. I'll think about it. But yeah, guys. So, like I said, we'll be back tomorrow, 8 p.m. as always. Hopefully, Brandon will be back. If not, then I guess Rudy. I think Rudy should be here tomorrow if he doesn't cancel on me again. So Brandon, let us know if you'll be able to come to. Let us know. Let me know later on. And then so yeah, guys, stay tuned tomorrow, 8 p.m. Don't forget Wednesday at 8 p.m. as well. The hangout, like I said, literally just a bunch of guys hanging out, just talking shit about whatever's going on. There's going to be no format. It's just literally a round table of us just bullshitting. It's going to be fun. You know, when I have a panel on, it's always a blast. It's always fun. We always laugh. So if you like having fun, be there. If you like getting involved, be there. If you don't, I'm sorry.
Be square. See, you had an opportunity, man. You blew it. Fab, we're going to have a talk.
It's like be there, be square. Be square. All right, guys. As always, thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.